Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new Fortnite experiment. In this video I'm gonna host some sort of a tournament between the different NPCs and mythic bosses that we currently have in the game. Ever since Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 2, I've been trying to test out how different bosses interact with each other if you bring them from one location to another. So one thing that always ends up happening is that a boss or NPC will always try to make its way back to its original location. It's really quite interesting because you can basically knock them off of a cliff and they don't care. They're just gonna find a way around the cliff, go back up. They will never start building, but they will break stuff and walk around as fast as they have to until they get to their destination. Now, in order to prevent this, I actually needed a location that I could drop the bosses in, and then they couldn't move away from there. So there was an option in Dirty Docks. If I removed the top part of that building and removed all of the stairs, there's no way for you to get out. There's a similar situation in Lazy Lake and then also in Slurpy Swamp. At the moment of making this video, there are 15 different NPCs available that are just normal ones and they won't attack you unless you attack them. And then there are two other ones which I would consider NPC bosses. And then you also have two mythic bosses. I decided to split this into two categories. So the first one is going to be an NPC fight and the second one is going to be a boss fight. Since I have to get a total of 15 NPCs in a small area, I decided to go for the building inside of Lazy Lake simply because I don't want to drop them there and then they immediately start attacking each other. Like, there needs to be a little bit of space so that they can just move around and chill for a bit until they start the fight. Also, fun fact, I recorded all of this live yesterday, or at least I thought I did, but smart me forgot to turn on his microphone and unfortunately I only have the gameplay sounds now. Now the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I had a pretty funny reaction to when I first tried to pick up an NPC using the tractor beam and they just started shooting at me. I was like, what is going on here? I'm being extremely non-hostile and literally just lifting you up from the ground and throwing you into a pit so that you can enter a violent match later on when I'm done doing all the prep, and you're just over here shooting at my saucer. Like, what's the point? But yeah, in all seriousness, I really did not expect that they would immediately turn hostile. Like, I figured that would be kind of a safe way to transport them. But instead, for the NPCs that were located a bit further away, I think I had to go through about 3 or 4 different saucers before I could actually get them to their destination, because they didn't miss a shot. You know, that was one thing I definitely noticed. Whenever you would pick up an NPC, they just empty their clip completely and your saucer would lose half of its health. It was unbelievable. Anyway, after about 2, maybe 2.5 hours of struggling, I finally managed to get most of the NPCs into the little pit that I had created. And this is where things just got a little bit sad, really. So I ended up grabbing Hayseed, and after he got rid of about 3 saucers, for some reason, his AR spray was just better than most of the NPCs that I have been transporting so far. And the last saucer that I had available for him, when I got him close enough, for some magical reason, I threw him, or at least I thought that I threw him into the pit. He got stuck on top of my saucer and then fell to his death. And I was like what just happened right here? And then I figured, hey, you know what? If you can't even make it to the pit, then your bloodline does not deserve to fight in the pit. Like, simple as that. So obviously, I grabbed myself a sunflower and tried to bring her over to the pit. And for some reason, the exact same thing ended up happening. And the weirdest part about this one is that when I threw Sunflower, she transported into a trespasser, or kind of got rid of her disguise. And then as she was falling down, or as the trespasser was falling down, I really tried to save it by using my beam. But unfortunately, it wouldn't connect, and I just saw another half hour go completely to waste. Then I was like, oh, I have another brilliant idea. Let me just grab one of the NPCs that are an unofficial one. You know, they added some of them to the map, and if you emote with them, they'll give you chuck splashes and heal you. I was like, if I could just basically compensate for the ones that I've lost, that might be a good solution. Tried to bring one over there, missed all of his shots except for the last one, and I wasn't paying attention to how much health my saucer had, which just happened to be on the brink of an explosion and almost started the fight earlier than I planned. I was like, okay, no more risks. I'm just going to be really careful from now on. Starting to think that I was a little bit too careful, because as I was heading over to Believer Beach, I couldn't find Sunny anywhere. At first I thought, oh, maybe she got into a little altercation with a trespasser and they picked her up and threw her somewhere else on the map. But then I figured, hey, you know what? If they did that, then she would probably go back to her original spot. And also, if you pick them up and they immediately start shooting, there is not a doubt in my body that she's been blown to bits by any of the trespassers that was patrolling there. So yeah, the intention was to get 15 NPCs to the pit. I think eventually 11 of them ended up making it there. Still a good result, but not entirely what I wanted. After all of that prep work, it was time to start the fight. I wanted to get myself an IO guard from a satellite station and throw him into the pit so that it would kind of set off all of the other characters, and the exact opposite ended up happening. So let me get this straight. I throw all of you guys into a pit, and then you form clusters of 2, maybe 3, and then Swamp Stalker was left all alone, as well as the IO guard, but I kind of expected that one. And nobody wanted to fight each other. The IO guard was just standing stuck in a corner, and whenever I would show my face, he'd get aggressive immediately, but against the other NPCs, it was just like, nah, it's cool, we're chilling, nothing to see here. A little bit later, I ended up having the weirdest scientific perfect breakthrough, because whenever I put a floor beneath them, they suddenly started fighting. I'm not sure what set them off, but I just put some floors down, and as I turned around, I heard gunshots, and I was like, oh, action, nice. That also brings me to the conclusion of the first battle that happened, because 2 of the NPCs ended up being a trespasser in the disguise, and those are the ones that also happened to win the first fight. I tried to replicate this in the other corner, but for some reason it didn't have the same result. So the NPCs and the IO guard would get triggered, but they didn't start fighting, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and interfere. I grabbed Abstract, and I did him dirty, you guys. I threw him next to the IO guard, and he got stuck behind him. It was actually quite sad to see, because Abstract was just a free kill. After that, I spent a couple more minutes trying to throw the NPCs around, moving the trespassers closer to the IO guard, and kind of hoping to trigger some sort of a reaction or starting a fight that way, but it didn't end up happening. And once I got bored, I threw some recruits into the mix. This did get things a little bit more interesting, because the recruits ended up taking out the IO guard and the trespasser, but they didn't attack Swampstalker for some reason. At this point, I had been struggling for I don't know how long, and I was also like, you know what, fine, I'll do it myself. And then I thought I had the smoothest transition, where I went back to the lobby, put on my Thanos outfit, grabbed Loki's scepter, and then proceeded to smack the absolute bejesus out of her. But now that I'm saying it again, when it's not live commentary, it doesn't quite have the same ring to it. I'm still gonna leave it in though. Anyway, yeah, I guess that we can say Swampstalker was victorious by doing absolutely nothing, just standing in a corner and dancing. Sometimes that's just the way to go. Let's move on to the bosses part. I wanted to divide this into 2 categories. So the first one was gonna be the normal boss fight between Riot and Googieman, and then the second one was gonna be the Mythic boss fight between Dr. Sloan and Zig and Choppy. I'd just like to take a special moment and tell you guys that grabbing Riot from near Catty Corner and bringing him all the way over to Lucky's Lighthouse has been one of the most difficult things that I had to do in a Fortnite experiment thus far. This guy has been so incredibly accurate and also did so much damage with his heavy AR that I went through about 6 or 7 different saucers before I could get him all the way there. Then, once I finally managed to get the fight started, a trespasser appeared out of nowhere. I think that I stole its UFO somewhere in Pleasant Park, and he was just like, nah dude, I really want my UFO back. And he came all the way to Lucky's Lighthouse and started shooting at Googieman as well. I ended up being eliminated, and as I respawned and went back to the location that it all happened, I saw that Googieman had turned into his ghost form or his hologram form, and Riot was just casually making its way back to Catty Corner. I was like, oh, I probably missed the entire fight, but Riot appears to be the winner. So then I went over to theater mode and figured out what happened, and then the exact moment that I was gonna see how the fight ended, my gameplay just glitched out completely, and I was like, sometimes you gotta take an L. This is definitely one of those times. I will never know how it happened, but Riot is the winner. I'm still having difficulty accepting it, but I refuse to grab Riot again and bring him over to the lighthouse. It's not happening. Fast forward a little bit, I managed to get Zig and Choppy over to Corny Complex. It wasn't all that difficult, but for some reason I couldn't get him down to where Sloan was. And I think that they were fighting for a brief second until Zig and Choppy were like, nah dude, we gotta go home, mom expects us back before dinner. Only for them to get stuck on the stairs. And I was like, alright, I'm just gonna throw you guys in a pit as well and hope for the best. This is also the part when I'm gonna switch back over to live commentary, because I did end up capturing that. Hope you guys enjoy. You guys, I am so close to being done. Just gonna have to drop Zig and Choppy right in that pit hole. Alright, and now let's fight. Dr. Sloan, I'm really going to request you to step up your game this time. Really? Are they just gonna be sitting in opposite corners and not fight? I do not accept. I kinda wanna throw my alien nanites here, but don't think that's very smart. Okay, let's get her triggered too. Yes, there we go. Alright. One of the minions is definitely attacking him, but Zig and Choppy is like, no, I'm pretty Gucci. I'm not gonna do anything. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's finally some action. I don't know what he's doing. He doesn't appear to be shooting something. It's like he's aiming at them, but he's not shooting anything. This is so bad. Okay, I'm gonna give him a little poke. See if he gets startled. There we go. He's angry. And now they're just gonna collectively form a team and focus on me. It's amazing. This is the weirdest form of cover that I've ever had in this game. Hey, how are they still hitting me? That's not how this goes. Yes, they got him! They finally shot him! Oh, there we go. The beast has awoken. Okay, Zig and Choppy, there you go. That's going quite well. The other Dr. Sloan is still putting in some work. Zig and Choppy has taken quite a lot of damage because of the clones, but it looks like he can still turn this around. Okay, that entire beam just missed. Ooh, that's not looking very good. Oh, there we go. Is this gonna be a slow comeback? Unless Dr. Sloan gets some headshots in, she's gonna be a goner. I'm kind of rooting for Zig. You know, since he had an unfair start. But, oh, now he's just missing everything. You're ruining everything. Okay, well, that was Zig and Choppy. I think he would have had her if he just started aiming sooner, but I don't know, he was being really weird about it. Okay, now there's only one thing left to do, and that is to make Dr. Sloan fight against Riot. There you go. Get nice and acquainted. Oh, okay, help. No, I'm not ready to go. Ooh, the fight already started. But it looks like Sloan is too busy fighting me. Oh, no, wait. She did notice Riot. Alright, let's see what's gonna happen. For some reason, Riot is really engaged with me. Okay, he got me. Come on, quickly, I want to see the rest of the fight. Okay, Sloan's shield has been taken out. I can't see Riot's health bar, but he's doing its sidestep, and I was just in time to watch him get wrecked. Not even the recruits are able to take her out. She's just positioned herself right there, just aimbotting bots left and right. In the meantime, Riot is having a little identity crisis and is now Sloan's biggest cheerleader. Whatever floats your boat, my guy. Time to see what Thanos and a pickaxe can do. Is she gonna defeat me as well? I know that Swamp Stalker did not really stand a chance. Oh, I'm one shot, so she's getting closer. Oh, that's nasty. That's also like the perfect way to end this video, because this has just been one giant pool of nonsense. I honestly was expecting Zig and Choppy to win, but for some reason he just wouldn't shoot until it was too late. And instead Dr. Sloan ended up taking the victory. I hope we'll get some new bosses later in the season, maybe a Superman boss, that would be awesome. And if that does end up happening, then I'll definitely try this again. Just the bosses part, that is. I will never bring all of the different NPCs in a corner again. Unless this video gets like a crazy amount of views, but otherwise I am not doing that. Anyway, that's gonna be it for today. This experiment turned out to be a little bit of a success, and not fully, but I'll take it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. If you want to support me further, use code PerfectScore in the item shop. I'll see you guys at the next one. Peace! Huh?